Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sean from Blue Ridge Silverhound, and I want to thank you for joining us for a really awesome episode coming up here. And we're going to talk about a subject that's very near and dear to my heart because for the longest time, pre 1965, before any of the copper nickel clad coinage had come out into circulation, of course, silver was the talk of the town all the way up to 1964 when the US Mint decided to do away with that precious commodity. Now, just to recap, the US Mint did away with silver only because producing silver coins got very expensive, much like in the same vein as the copper Lincoln cents, in which those were done away with because it was just way too expensive to produce. In 1982, they put the kibosh on it, and that was it. But what a lot of people don't know about the earlier silver Washington quarters is that they were commonly overlooked for varieties. All right, something that we take for granted today in current pocket change from 1965 all the way up to the current date. As of today, of course, it's 2019. And even in 2019, various brand new double dyes and all sorts of neat varieties and errors are out there for the taking, which is just proof positive that even in today's meticulous standards and technology, that our US Mint employees still find a way to make a mistake here and there. And as collectors, we cherish things of that nature, which makes coinage and numismatics one of the most interesting, if not intricate, hobbies to get into today. The main focal point of today's video is going to be Washington quarters. Okay, there's a few of them, and the reason why I'm doing this video today is that there are a couple of varieties that for the longest time were generally overlooked by what I would consider to be, in today's standards, your coin roll hunters, your pocket change searchers. But where the opportunity lied during this time was in cherry picking. So cherry picking was simply the art of going through either coin dealer stock, going through bulk silver, coins, finding some of these well-known double dyes. Now, they were ignored, but they were very well known amongst a very elite group of searchers, which are the cherry pickers. And turns out a good number of these coins were discovered during the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and a lot of them were pulled as brilliant uncirculated examples. Now keep in mind, this is before coin grading got hot, which effectively made top population high graded coins a thing today, as a matter of fact within the last 15 to 20 years. So beforehand, coins like, for instance, this 1943S Washington quarter can be had in brilliant uncirculated condition for around $3 or $4. All right, typically these would be in a little 2x2 encasement with 4 or 3 staples surrounding it, and this would be par for the course when you're out there at coin shops, coin shows, or looking through old collections that maybe your grandpa, grandma, mom, and dad had socked away for many years. So what exactly are we looking for? Well, this one coin right here, this 1943S, this is a coin right here that is now available in the upcoming Long Beach sale that is hosted by Heritage Auctions. So what I did was I like to go through some of these upcoming auctions, whether it's through Heritage, Stack's Bowers, Great Collections, and I wanted to pull 1 or 2 coins out of there and kind of talk about it. This one is probably one of the most significant discoveries in the Washington Quarter series in terms of how dramatic, how rare, and just how sought after it was for a number of years. This coin was very well known. 40, 50 years ago. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. This is not some like discovery that happened later on. As these things were circulated or hoarded up, the one thing that we want to keep in mind, okay, a lot of these coins exist in bulk silver. They don't necessarily have to look like this. This is a very gem example. As a matter of fact, this is an example that's on the Long Beach docket coming up here in a couple weeks as a PCGS graded Mint State 66 example. And this one, with about a week or so left before actual bidding, is estimated to sell between $5,000 and $6,000. Now here's a close-up look of the diagnostical features of the double die offers for the 1943S, and you're going to see, all right, for those of you that own a cherry picker's guide or have seen images of this quarter, know exactly what you're looking at. But this one here has some of the most wildest of spreads on any double die that I have seen on a Washington quarter. So in the motto, "In God We Trust," you're going to find the strongest doubling, bar none, out of any other quarter in the series. The doubling on the date is also readily apparent. Okay, as you can see, you see notching, you see quite a nice spread. But to a lesser degree, you also see it on Liberty, as you see here. Now you'll see some of that the notching on the letters, on those little corners there of the letters, and this is a nice feature. And even in lower grade examples, you're going to be able to identify the particular notching that you see here on not only Liberty to a lesser degree, but you're going to see that same incredible spread throughout In God We Trust, and you're also going to see it really well on the date. Now, if you were looking for a kind of like a sample to go against that is in much lower condition, take a look at this 1943S, which grades somewhere in that good to VG fashion. Okay, this is about what you would expect to find if you were going through a bulk mix of silver quarters, which at this time, keeping in mind that the price of silver is just over $18 an ounce today, you're going to be looking somewhere between $5 and $5.50 per quarter. Okay, that's if you just buy them individually. However, this one right here is typically kind of the easiest, kind of low-hanging fruit type of grade that you will find above and beyond some of those higher Mint State grades, okay, like the one highlighted at the Heritage Auctions Long Beach sale. So this one right here, again, with a close-up of the diagnostics, it's still really strong, even at a lower grade. All right, and because of this, because of how strong the doubling is, even on the lower grade, they are still very desirable. To give you an idea, this example right here sold on eBay July 26th of 2019, so this is within the last 30 to 60 days, for $60. So when you go and take or cherry pick a coin that traditionally you'll pay $5 for, you turn around and flip it for $60, I would say that is a pretty good return on your investment. If and only if you're into that sort of thing. People like to cherry pick to be able to obtain what would be some of the most rarest of varieties to add to their collection. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, there's no wrong way to collect coins. So this is a great example, and this is another coin. Again, if you have the opportunity to track it on the Long Beach Heritage Auction sale, I would encourage you guys to do so. So here's another variety that I wanted to talk about, and not a lot of people know about the medium versus heavy motto 1930D Washington quarters. All right, we would traditionally associate the different type styles of the lettering in that motto for just the Philadelphia minted coins. Okay, I've known that for ages. You know, it's in the Red Book, it's in the Cherry Picker's Guide. The 1934 Philadelphia Washington quarter had the three variants of different thicknesses to the letters in God We Trust. Okay, so you had the light, the medium, and the heavy motto for the Philadelphia minted examples, but not a lot of people know or would even fathom that the same thing applies to the Denver minted coins. However, there are only two different type styles for the Denver minted coin that you should know about. Okay, and that is the medium motto, so the letters will be a little bit skinnier. And then you have the heavy motto. Now, the coin that you see here is an example of a coin that is currently available on the Long Beach Heritage Auctions sale site as being the heavy motto coin. Okay, this is a really pleasing, very nice, acceptable coin right here. And this one right here is plenty beautiful enough for someone that wants to own one of these. Now, the good news is it's not some ridiculous top pop grade. Okay, you could own this thing for around $800. That is the conservative Heritage Auctions estimate. It could fall a little bit under that. It could kind of rise up above and beyond that $800, but it is well worth looking for coins of this type. Now, 1934D is not a rare date, even in high grades. So you could find something in a lower mint state with both variants of that thickness in the lettering, both the medium and heavy, and be absolutely fine with it. Okay, it would make for a really good cherry pick. Now, there are going to be times where you're going to see like an incredible high graded example. Okay, and that was the case in 2007, in which one example of the light motto, or the medium, however you want to classify it, 1934D, was sold on Heritage Auctions May 10th of 2007 in the amount of $21,850. And that one, of course, is a PCGS Mint State 67. So at the time, it was an incredible grade. But keep in mind that this also occurred during a time where you were a few years out, okay, because this sale happened before the recession of 2008 and 2009, that this coin probably could have sold closer to $30,000 if it was sold, say, in 2010, because people were parking more money into high-grade rarities, and this light or medium motto 1934D was simply one of those coins that possibly could have exceeded the market value compared to what it had sold for 3 years prior. So these are my two highlighted coins that I want to talk about on this particular episode. They are fun finds. Okay, the 1943S, I have actively searched for it. I have found a few lowball examples, much like the one I had showed you in this video. But keep in mind that one of the easiest things that you could possibly buy in today's coin world is bulk silver. You go anywhere, you can also find bulk dimes, bulk quarters, half dollars. They are all over the place, and generally, probably 95% of the time, they are cherry pick free. Okay, they have not been searched, and this is primarily the big reason why that these haven't been cherry picked, is because the prospect of investing in silver is on the top of a lot of people's minds. So when they go to purchase this in large quantities, whether it's $100 face, $1,000 face, $10,000, what have you, they buy it for the silver and they just don't care about what's in the bag. I think the sad part through all of this is there was a good deal of these that were melted during the run-up in silver of 2009, 2010. I didn't want to bring it out there, but that is the stark reality. These coins met its end in the smelters for about a 2-year period, effectively wiping out approximately 15 to 20% of the total silver population of quarters. Let that sink in. Pretty crazy numbers, but it also makes a prospect of finding some of these really neat and awesome varieties. This is just scraping the surface. There are a multitude of various other varieties that you can look for. If you want to know more about them, I would encourage you to pick up a copy of the second volume of the Cherry Picker's Guide, which includes coins from the half dimes, all the way up into gold pieces. And it'll have all of the various different types of Washington quarter varieties. It's a lot of fun. It's a great reference tool. I have 2 of them myself. I love it twice as much, I guess. But I want to thank you guys for joining in on this particularly awesome video in which we talked about a couple really nice early Washington quarter varieties that should never be ignored, because if you pass it over and you melt it or do whatever, okay, you're going to be throwing away hundreds of dollars, I guarantee it. But thank you again for joining on this episode. I'm your host, Sean with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for instant notifications, and keep in mind you want to turn your settings on to public so you actually do get the notifications. Most people don't do that, and they end up missing out on all the newest uploads. So I want to thank you guys for joining. You guys have a wonderful hunt this weekend, and as always, we are discovering together. You guys take care and have a good one.